What's up guys, how's it going? We are back doing football facility tours. I don't know why we ever stopped doing these because every time I watch one of these videos, my mind is just absolutely blown. Like I'm blown away at how good these football facilities are for college students. Georgia Bulldogs, $80 million. Let's go, let's see how good it is. We know they're a top class football team and it looks like they have the football facility to match already.
What's going on, world? Brand new episode of Royal Key there on your screen. I'm your host, George Kill, and I'm here at the University of Georgia with Tanner Steins. Tanner, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Glad to be here. You know you guys have an amazing facility, right?
I think this is the team we watched a lot of last year with that Bennett, didn't we?
Proud of it.
Yeah, it's very top notch. One thing I want to discuss here today is just the layout of this facility. It's very unique compared to many other programs we've kind of seen. We're in this little area of like the 360 degrees of wow, and you can see like literally everything from this area. Where are we now?
So we're in what we call the heart of our operation facility. Everything in this whole building is designed on student athlete efficiency. So how can they get most efficient from meetings to meals, from meals to locker room to weight room to training room, and then to the indoor facility. Most everything in their world lives on the first and second floor, and then everything above it is the coaches' offices, so the coaches can also get up and down to any of these spaces as efficiently as possible.
Okay, Tanner, before we actually get into the tour,
it's all about energy saving.
Mention back-to-back national champion stuff going on right here. This has to be a wow moment for any recruit, right?
So one thing we've done is we put the trophies where the student athletes are most. So we want this to be a constant reminder of what the goals are every single day.
What do you guys think about that trophy? It's a clean looking trophy. Kind of looks like a speaker. I get it's meant to be in American football with the four lines in the middle. It kind of looks like a speaker or a fancy air purifier. I'm not going to lie, I'm not that impressed by it.
Fortunately and unfortunately, we built this case 2 years ago, and we may have to build another one. But when we bring recruits in from the side entrance or during our regular day with our student athletes and our coaches and staff are here, this is kind of the focal point of remembering about keeping the main thing, and this is the ultimate goal.
Definitely. So that's wow moment number one. Wow moment number two for me is what we're looking at here, Bones. This is not your regular like cafeteria seating where everyone is, sitting in a line.
So we figured out that most everybody gets tired of the cafeteria, but no one really ever gets tired of going to the sports bar. So the entire design and look and feel is in a sports bar type setup. It's meant to be different types of seating, communal. We cook right in front of the student athletes here. We cook breakfast and lunch in this space, and then we cater in a different dinner every night.
The cooking demo area we saw yesterday.
I hope in one of these parallel universes out there, I moved to America as a kid and I was amazingly talented at football or basketball, and I was living this life in these facilities because they look so good, man.
Hey, that is
they're so well looked after.
It's like the feature of Bones that really elevated the space. We didn't really know how much the student athletes were going to enjoy the demo cooking, but I think teaching them to make the meals that they've eaten throughout the week is really developing life skills for them well beyond while they're here. We don't want you to leave the University of Georgia and feel like you were treated better than you can treat yourself in future of your life. So teaching them those skills has really been a key factor for our nutrition staff.
Got me hungry.
Okay, Tanner, again, I'm loving the fact that you can see literally everything from where we're standing. What is the thought process and how this was created?
So our head athletic trainer, Ron Corson, is an innovator in this collegiate world of sports medicine. And so one thing was really focused on was efficiencies, right? Every time we do it. But it was also the connectiveness of when you're in the training room. Most training rooms are built separate from the rest of their facilities. The room is set up from short-term rehab with hydrotherapy pools and all our taping tables to long-term rehab. We call the back half the hospital in our partnership with Piedmont Hospital. Piedmont's a large contributor to the athletic department, but also one of the largest healthcare systems in Georgia. There's MRI, concussion testing, sensory deprivation chamber, cryotherapy, you name it, it's in this facility. Each of our physicians has their own exam room in the space, so they don't even have to share. And then all in the back half of this space.
One thing I'd like to know as well is so if you go to study like sports therapy or like sports medicine at Georgia, you'll get to use these facilities as well, right? So it's great for those students. I wonder if they get involved in like learning how to take care of the student athletes alongside the professionals who are being paid to do the job, because that's an insane opportunity. this is like an insane level of technology. I can't even speak it.
Long-term concussion recovery space, which is connected right
like
to our
sensory
practice
deprivation
field. So
tanks and
student
stuff is
athletes,
an
when they're
insane
in
thing to
long-term
have. Look at that, they've got a full racing rig. Yo, this is better than my racing setup, and I love racing. What have they got there? They got the Logitech wheel. They got the 3-screen setup with the rig. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's pretty solid, you know.
Don't ever feel disconnected from our team. Currently, this is the largest sports medicine facility in a collegiate campus.
But why was that there? Did I miss something? Why was that there?
Campus anywhere in the country. So we're really
It was
proud
so
of this
random.
space.
just have a race while you're having your treatment. Maybe it's good for
Okay, Tanner, is this
foot
like the
mobility
crown
back.
jewel of the facility?
Yo.
We had the indoor facility had already been built. So when we built this facility, this was the focal point. Basically, all the architecture and all of the symmetry of everything comes off
Some
of
big
this center
dumbbells in
room.
there.
The equipment room is down below us, with the locker room space, training room off to the side. The coaches' offices are above us on that side, and all the support staff offices on the other. So this is really the main hub of the entire operations.
How important, especially in a 3-story building, was this to kind of stand alone and not be, because, you know, when they're pounding and hitting the ground, like, you don't want, you know, the interruption of a workflow. So how important was that?
So it's really built for that specific purpose. You know, we call the equipment room
Did you notice how every plate was branded with the Georgia Bulldogs logo as well, the G? That's
below
cool.
the bunker, because
Nice little
when
touch,
you're
that.
underneath it, you see how much structure is built beneath it to support this space. But this really is its own independent building. The weight room, equipment room stack, the office training room, and locker room are all in a stack together, and then the other support spaces on that side. So this operates as much vibration, sound, anything we can get into it, it kind of insulates it in this specific space. So the scoreboard that we put in, it's always challenging the norm. So why just a screen? Why don't we put an arena-sized video board inside
Why
our weight
not?
room?
If you
We
got
can
the
divide
money.
it up to a
Why
bunch
not?
of different things. We can put TV on it, but they put their workouts on there. They watch a pre-lift hype videos on there. It also really helps when we have recruits in here, and we can show a recruiting presentation in that space as well.
And I know Coach Sinclair was very hands-on with the direction of this weight room, with, you know, the
And just a point on that, I guess not only is it a world-class facility for the players you've currently got, this must help a ton with recruitment. If you've got someone who's got a few colleges after him and you show them this space, yo, that's a great selling point. Imagine knowing that for your 4 years at college or whatever they spend, that this is where you're going to be spending your day-to-day life in this place.
architectures. What is the significance of the
Sign me
flooring
up.
being, you know, in close proximity with the racks?
So the room is built to be able to lift the entire team. He doesn't lift the entire team. They still lift in groups based on skill position, or if they're in the off season, sometimes based on their class schedules and who's in that group. The way the room is set up is much like everything else we talked about, is about efficiency of their time and energy being spent going from one thing to another. So we'll set up the room with different exercises on different racks, but then
Those
in
plates are
between
so
when they're
cool.
doing supplemental lifts, if they're pushing sleds and throwing medicine balls, they just step to the center of the room on the turf portion and do that. So they will rotate almost like a circuit through the room.
Another benefit to having like a 3-story like weight room is you can start at the bottom, right?
Yes.
You guys have this, which is very unique to weight rooms. What is the significance of using that area there?
So those plyo stairs are an exact replica of our stadium stairs. So instead of having to take the team all the way down to the stadium to run stadium stairs, we can run stadium stairs in the weight room. They're built to that exact dimension, and they're softer on their knees, they're padded. If someone slips, they're not gonna hurt themselves. But it's about efficiency. Taking the whole team down just to run stadium stairs or doing box hops up this stadium for
Box humps, what are they?
20 minutes. You waste 20 minutes going
some
down to the
after
stadium
team
and back, so we built this
activities
right
going
into
on
the
there.
space.
After
Okay,
training
Tanner,
activities,
First
I
thing
should
I
say.
noticed when we walked in here, it's like all black and white, and then the numbers, which
What
are
are these?
very
What are these numbers? Are they retired numbers? Do you reckon? It's got to be on it. This is beautiful, man. This is cold, black. I love black interiors. Like it's just
significant.
cold.
How is this laid out?
Compared to our old team room, one thing about this room, there's no red in the room. So when the team comes, they bring the red.
business.
The energy of the space is brought by our student athletes when they come into this space.
Fair enough.
This is where we start every day. They do their team meeting before going to meeting groups. Interesting features of the space, it's twice the size of our previous film room. We have our national championship years and our division and conference championship years.
Okay.
And then this video board we have in this space is so large that one thing we had to think about when building the room is it's divided into thirds so that student athletes that are sitting on this side of the room don't get a crick in their neck watching film to the center of the room. They can all look straight forward and watch their version of the film in this space.
Obviously, we're in the locker room right now. Very spacious, comfy seats. But I noticed one thing as we're walking through here, I don't see a player lounge. So is this one of the...
Look how they got the pictures of the players on the TV screens above, yo. This is so cool. Imagine walking in there as a rookie and seeing your name and your picture up there, your own little seat.
Areas where the student athletes are kind of using to hang out.
So the one thing we did in this facility is each locker is designed where they can lounge in their locker space. There's a locker room lounge, but then up next to Bones, we created another lounge space where the pool table and the gaming systems are. We've really broken up where they want to lounge. Instead of saying 125 guys are all going to pile into one room all the time, we've made it where depending on what they're feeling, their vibe that day, they can go to a different space.
And that's a pretty cool concept because if I'm a student athlete here, I feel like the entire facility is my home and not that one area. I get to, land anywhere and do whatever, like you said. This
whole building is your facility. Wherever you feel that you want to be that day, that's available for you.
Right behind us, you guys have like I'm going to call it a spa back there. Talk to me about that area.
So we put a lot of detail into the wet area. There's showers, restroom space, there's a barber shop, and then we integrated our hot and cold
a barber shop, yo. That barber's got a lot of pressure in there. Deal with college guys' haircuts. This pool looks cold.
Pools.
Look at this, man. This is
into the locker
beautiful.
room. So when the student athletes come off, instead of getting into your traditional garden tubs after practice for ice bath, they come straight into the locker room, get into the tubs in the shower space, and then they go straight from the tubs into the showers and then out for the day. So it really keeps a lot of that efficiencies that we've been talking about.
My man likes his efficiency.
Area.
Okay, Tanner, part of my intrigue in doing these is seeing how said program markets the people they put in the big league, right? And so how do you guys do that here?
We pride ourselves, I would say, on our ability to train our student athletes for the next level and to get them into the league. A big focus right outside our locker room and opposite of our equipment room right here is our NFL wall. Fortunately for us, our NFL wall is so extensive and is so ever-changing that we fully digitized the wall. So our creative staff, if a guy swaps teams, got new highlights from last week, we can update that right on the wall because it is the ultimate goal. And so every day coming and going for our team,
great motivation in
room is what are we getting to?
I'm not sure that's the best NFL wall we've seen. I think it was LSU had a pretty cool one. But this facility in general, I can't really remember the LSU one totally, but this one is really impressive.
Strive, keeping the main thing is getting to the next level.
How important is it to stay, with the times? You just mentioned the technology. Gone are the days where we have like the team logo and then people listed down. Like, it's changed dramatically.
So I would say in my first stint, we had a traditional NFL wall. And no more than you could print it and update it was it wrong again. And not necessarily wrong, but just out of date. Someone's moved teams, something's saying we might have misspelled someone's name from, 15 years ago that's on a draft list somewhere. When you've digitized it, it lives in our creative department. If we want to specifically target all the outside linebackers that we've got in the NFL right now, we can put that on the wall ahead of that recruit coming in here. So when they go by the NFL wall, they only see their position group being displayed at that time. So our football creative staff, we try to integrate them as many things as we can. So even when we're building the facility, we build it with the ability that they can do the updates and keep the content fresh so that I'm not having to hire some company that's in another state for a designer that's not a dog, right? That wants to feel what we're trying to portray to our student athletes and our recruits. So our creative staff, we put them in the front of that on the front end so that when we're going to do updates and keeping things current, they're the ones that they know how it was built, they know how it was designed, and it's designed to their performance standards.
I'm from the South, so I know it gets very hot out there. How beneficial is this for your program?
In multiple ways. For the ability to in-season, off-season workouts, to have a conditioned space to come and train and run. Just inclement weather. We don't really have that big of a cold temperature problem in the South, but today it's already almost 90 degrees and it's not even lunchtime yet. And so we would do portions of practice outside, and in order to maintain the level of practice without having to worry about heat exhaustion and heat stroke, we'll transition practice inside to finish it up so that we can get the most amount of performance time out of our student athletes. So it's been integral to us. It's great. We use it for multiple other things too. We host special events in here. Our track team trains in here. Baseball, softball come and train in here. Soccer in the off season. So
getting the money's
all
worth.
Our other sports also take advantage of it when they have inclement weather spaces too.
So we were working with a very tight footprint, which is often the case here at UGA because we don't have a ton of land to work with. So anytime we're doing a construction project, whether it's at the stadium or here, we have to be really efficient with the space. And then going 3 levels was important. Now that obviously provides a challenge when you go 3 levels and movement between those spaces. When we were throwing out what we all wanted to accomplish between the square footage we wanted, getting the media rooms, all the different spaces we needed. At first pass, we were thinking, how are we going to fit this in? But they really rose to the challenge. It was HOK, and they really got creative and showed us some different options. And that's what you love, too, is when you're presented with options to take to the coaches and staff. You know, anytime...
You know, one thing I just want to say here, but the video is coming to an end anyway. $80 million is a lot of money, right? But this is definitely worth... Not that I have $80 million to spend. This is definitely worth that amount of money because, honestly... I'm a Manchester United fan. This might go over some of your Reds, but it could be the same with a lot of sports. We buy individual players for that amount of money who don't perform and don't even play very well. And for that money, you can build this full facility to improve the current players you have is wild because I don't even reckon Manchester United, being one of the biggest football teams in the world, have a football facility, like a soccer facility, as good as this. I genuinely don't think they do, which is crazy to me. We're spending that amount of money on someone who might not even perform and could leave us in like 3 years. Or you can spend that to build a facility of this standard that's going to stand the test of time and improve everyone. It's a lot of money, but it also seems like very good value for money at the same time.
Talk about any
in the
facility,
sports industry, you know what I mean?
We want it to be a space where they can just be, where they can feel like it's a space to get away. And you want to have a space that's a home away from home for them. So when I think about how it impacts recruiting, I want them to think about them visualizing themselves a place that they can just be. And then that's also helping our current student athletes. I always want to improve the spaces where our athletes spend their time day in and day out. Coach Smart is very specific on wanting efficient flow, whether it be from locker room to training room, locker room to weight room, locker room to field, etc. So that's how the puzzle kind of came together, and the architects were great to work with on that. Our director of ops at the time had a thought of having this 360 view to where you stand in that one spot and you could view the team meeting room, you could view the dining area, you could view the weight room, and you could view the lounge to kind of give you that one spot where you could really take a lot of it in, and that'd be kind of the center point of the facility.
Great video. Absolutely loved it. What a facility that is. Big up Georgia Bulldogs. Easy to see why they're having the success that they are having. Guys, let me know if there's any other football facilities or basketball facilities, any facilities, sports facilities you want me to check out down in the comments below. Subscribe if you are enjoying these videos, and I'll see you for the next one. Take it easy. Peace.